Най-важното, че от всички сирийски бежанци, State Agency for Refugees, that is very biggest problem. But he is illiterated, absolutely. Те са като ромските общности. Те са сегрегирани, те категорично отказват да учат български език, казват, че са неграмотни. Богатите държави, в Швейцария, Германия, Швеция и така нататък. А за България остават кюрдите, които са много по-зле от нашите цигани във всяко едно отношение. Не ми е неудобно да кажа, че значи те там са живели на землянки, в землянки. Аз съм председател на Държавната агенция за бежанците от 5 октомври миналата година. Иначе 34 години имам стаж в българската армия, като 29 от тях като офицер, като последно изобщо длъжности са ми били последните 15 години съм бил или в екипа на министъра на отбраната, или на началника на генералния щаб на българската армия. Освен това съм и университетски преподавател от 25 години по психологически и социологически дисциплини, както и бизнес комуникация.
The law gives a lot of discretion to the refugee authorities, which opens the door to arbitrariness.
In June of 2014, a delegation from the Canadian Council for Refugees was invited to visit Bulgaria and gather information about the plight of Syrian refugees there.
Refugees from Syria, as other possible refugees from other countries, have faced the same problem trying to cross the border, particularly if they're coming from Turkey.
The main barrier for access to asylum is access to territory, actually. And access to territory in terms of crossing the border physically.
The numbers that have been coming to Bulgaria since November of 2013 are very, very low.
Because after the major influx that happened in the autumn of 2014, the government took very intense measures to intensify border control with the assistance of the European Union as well, and physically dispatched 1,500 policemen along the Bulgarian-Turkish border to prevent physically the entry of those people who wish to come and claim asylum, which immediately resulted in drastic drop in the figures of new arrivals.
Special Syrian people, Syrian refugees, they are coming with families, with many children. They are vulnerable people.
The second problem is again physical access, and it is the fence that is literally right now built by the Bulgarian government along the Bulgarian-Turkish border, which will prevent access to asylum seekers to the country physically.
In Bulgaria, access to the asylum procedure is arbitrary because you're treated as an asylum seeker not from the moment at which you submit an asylum application, but from the moment when that asylum application is registered by the refugee authorities. And between those two moments, submission of the asylum application and registration of the asylum application, there is an indefinite period of time, and you don't know when, if at all, your asylum application will be registered.
And then during this asylum process, they are not recognized by the state authorities as vulnerable persons, and many problems which arise from trauma, like for example concentration problems or some anxiety problems, which also could affect their performance during the asylum interviews, were totally neglected by the authorities, by the staff providing asylum interviews, and in addition they were considered as liars.
You got someone and after Rome we can go to Europe. You know, Bulgaria awarded Turkey. And here, and we pay for it. I pay for each young one $1,000. This man bring us, take us from Istanbul to Aden. Then he leaves us in the and tell us this is the way. By the way, if I know that before, I can't try it ever. I have kids and I may get in danger. So we are here now and we won't make anything. We haven't more money.
Once you have got access to the asylum procedure, the main barrier is quality. And to gain possibility to be genuinely heard and to present your case in detail and in full. First of all, if I can make a recommendation to the asylum procedure, is to have time in advance, to get notice in advance when your asylum interview will take place, so that you can be prepared for it. And so that you can bring your evidence, so that you know your rights, so that you can go there with a lawyer if you want to. You are told that the interview will take place usually the day before the interview takes place. And for me as a lawyer who provides legal aid to such persons, it's practically impossible to accompany them at the interview.
The procedure is working very well and fast for only Syrian people. The people, very small number from refugees from different countries, they get refugees decision. The procedure is getting longer and longer for non-Syrian asylum seekers. Now it's better regarding the centers. They are now better. When they arrived, it was situation very bad.
If you had come in November, December, even January, I would have said that the reception conditions were really very, very poor, in certain instances perfectly unacceptable. The authorities have worked very, very hard in order to improve the conditions. There is food being provided in all the centers. Medical presence is assured as well.
يعني من هون لهون اخي على غاز واحد
كلها ثلاثة
على غاز واحد يعني وضعنا بنوب
100 شخص
3 حمامات
كله مية
حشة سامعنا 3 تواليتات لا ما يصير خناقات
كله مرضانين معاه كبد
يعني لا نتحمم مثل العالم لا تجلي مثل العالم يعني مو عيشة والله مو عيشة
تقدير شبنا شبنا
Има сериозни проблеми. Например, тези децата от 3 години вече не ходят на училище и не се вижда дали ще имат училище тук да учат, защото 3 години те са без училище вече поради войната в Сирия.
يصير عنده عمره 5 سنوات ما بقى يستفيد من العلاج. وعطونا 3 سنوات شو بدنا نسوي هلا؟
شو عنده مرض هو كان؟
عنده نقص هرمونات ما عم يتولد عنده سنتين ونص.
Той на детето на 2 години и половина има липса на хормоните, нещо не знам какво е. Ако не се лекува още...
Well, the main issue in this country right now is the integration actually on لاقائات.
Since January 2014 there is no integration program.
Because the initial integration measures after the recognition before were implemented on the basis of an adopted national integration program. The last one ceased to exist on 31st December 2013, It is June 2013, no integration program has been adopted by the government so far. And there is no very much like that this kind of program will be accepted in the near future, because we think that the government intentionally delays the adoption of the national integration program in order to deter people to remain in the territory of the country.
For the last 6 months, there is no support for anybody that has been recognized as a refugee in the country in terms of accessing language courses, in terms of support for housing. There is simply no material or financial support provided to people who are recognized as refugees, which has led to a situation where you have quite a number of people that have been recognized as refugees and who are still remaining in the reception centers for asylum seekers because they have nowhere to go and no means to go anywhere.
So the situation integration is very hard. This is one of the reasons that the people they don't want to stay to here.
The area where Canada would be able to most assist national NGOs would be in the field of how to integrate people into the society, how to ensure that people who have arrived in Bulgaria and who have nothing are able to make a fresh start, become productive part of the society and be accepted ultimately by the society as well.
It's very nice to be for us. It's very useful. Exchange best experience, you know, between the two organizations. Also for the capacity building, to see, to make some, if you can, research to see where is the gaps in our organization to manage to build the capacity building of our organization.
You have experience working with minors and also with victims of trafficking. I think we need also to expand the field in terms of identification of traffic victims among this population of asylum seekers and refugees. It could be very helpful.
Okay.
It seems to me, and then it's difficult to be referred. There are some NGOs specialized in provision of services to victims of trafficking in Bulgaria, but they do not have any experience with foreigners and any